What up guys, SuperMetal983 here bringing us another CD review, and this time I've got another progressive release for you to check out, and if you're into progressive metalcore especially, then this is definitely an album for you. It's a very good one, but yeah, this is what I'm going to be reviewing for you today. Yeah, this is the new album from the band Ghost Iris, entitled Apple of Discord. This is released under Long Branch Records. Now, if you aren't too familiar with Ghost Iris, they are a progressive metalcore band hailing from Denmark, and this is the band's third full-length album, but I got introduced to the band through means of their last album, which is called Blind World. And when that came out was, off the top of my head, I can't remember, 2017 when I first heard that album, and I was really impressed with it, and it became one of my favourites in the genre itself. And then not long after that, they announced that they were going to be touring with Exist Immortal in the UK, and I was really looking forward to it, and I went to the show, but unfortunately Ghost Iris, I believe their van broke down and they couldn't make the Newcastle date, which I was really gutted about. But Exist Immortal put on one hell of a show, but I was really excited more for Ghost Iris, which is unfortunate, but these things happen. But yeah, that was, what's that, 2 years ago now, and I've been waiting for a new album of these guys. So, as I said, I was a massive fan of Blind World. I haven't checked out their debut, so at some point I will have to get around to checking that out. But I was really excited for this new album because obviously Blind World was a bit of an impactful album, especially for me, because progressive metalcore, it's usually hit and miss for me, but I was really impressed with that album, and I listened to it quite a bit in 2017. But anyway, we get to 2019 with the arrival of their new album, Apple of Discord, and honestly enough, I feel like this is a lot better than Blind World, and Blind World was outstanding, but I feel like Apple of Discord is just miles better than what I was expecting it to be. I mean, this has become one of the most catchiest and most enjoyable sounding albums that I've heard so far in 2019. I mean, this album just screams out quality and groove, and it doesn't scream out as much as the djent factor that they had on the last album, because I felt like their djent sound on the last album was quite mellowed back a little bit. It wasn't as obnoxious as it is on a lot of djent releases, but I think that's why I kind of enjoyed that album a lot more. But I feel like it's still strong on this album as it was on the last one, but I feel like this has a unique grit to it compared to most djent albums that I've heard and progressive metalcore releases that I've heard over the years. This still got all the elements that you can expect from a progressive metalcore release. Some really technical guitar work and very intricate parts in there with a lot of groove and a lot of very well thought out instrumentals on there. But I feel like this album, hands down, is probably the heaviest, and I never thought I'd ever say this. This is the heaviest djent album I have ever heard, personally. I mean, I've heard some quite heavy djent releases, but this is definitely up there on the heavy spectrum. This is up there with some as heavy as some deathcore releases, if you ask me, and that was something that I really didn't expect from this, but it gave us, it really adds to it and gives it a lot of character and a lot of uniqueness and makes it stand out amongst the crowd. It kind of puts us in mind of, what's the album? I think it's Exoplanet by the Contortionist, which is a damn fine album, that is. It kind of puts us in mind of that, and maybe the follow-up album, which I think it's the Extinct, or the Instinct, I can't remember, but the follow-up album to Exoplanet kind of puts us in that sort of mind, where it's like, it's got a really harsh grit to it, and gives it a bit of a heavy deathcore sort of atmosphere in there, but it's no question or shadow of a doubt that it is a still melodic, progressive release, and that I feel like gives it a really unique factor, and the tone just gives it that like kind of robust, kind of gnarly, gritty but clean sort of tone factor going for it, and I feel the songwriting on top of that gives it that that really unique atmosphere. And then the melodic sort of parts on here, the more singy parts, especially on the song what's it called? The Devil's Plaything. Yeah, the Devil's Plaything. When that song kicks in, it's very beautiful, very majestic, and the vocals, the clean vocal, like the low vocals are obviously what you hear first, and you think, oh, this could be a very aggressive release. and then it comes in with those very melodic, very powerful, clean vocals that kind of remind us a lot of Dan from TesseracT a little bit. Kind of has that vocal variety, in his voice. But those cleans definitely remind us a lot of TesseracT, even to an extent the Altered State album as well. But it definitely has that beautiful serenadiness also of TesseracT, because TesseracT has that kind of really proggy atmospheric part, which definitely this album has that. So it's not all just heavy grit and groove all over this album. It's definitely one of those varied sort of progressive releases. I love it when progressive bands actually show proper great progression in the songwriting, from giving it really heavy breakdowns. I mean, there's one song on here, let's just remind myself, the Rat and the Snake, which features Tyler Shelton of Traitors, and also check out me Traitors review of Repent. Thanks very much. Anyway, but yeah, that song, when it came to that, I recognised his voice straight away. I was like, that's Tyler Shelton. And I looked it up, and it was, and I was like, that is a very unique factor, because obviously Tyler's got his own signature voice in Downtown, but to have it on a progressive release definitely gave it that really unique sort of atmosphere, and gave it that grit, and I felt like that made it, like, wow, that made this a whole unique kettle of fish compared to what progressive metalcore has done over the years. So yeah, I definitely think that gives it a unique sound and like to this album. Another element I would like to point out is the first guest spot that you get, which is on the Beauty in Expiration, which is Don Vedder, I believe how it is. I looked him up. He's not in a band. He's, I believe, a solo artist, and his voice kind of reminded us of what's his name? Tyler Carter, is it? Kind of reminded us of Tyler Carter from Issues a little bit, but that definitely he had a very, very rich voice on that song. And obviously the beautiful cleans that were on before, like from Ghost Iris themselves, are very elegant, but these just gave it that really wow, like it's all great. It sort of gave it a different variation in the tones that were going on across this album, from like the monstrous vocals from the singer, I can't remember his name, Jesper. His vocals are very unique, definitely, very aggressive, kind of, like as I said, if you're a fan of the Contortionist, Exoplanet, it's kind of like along that sort of line, but there's still some variant in the mids and highs department, but then the clean vocals come in very elegantly, and then when that song comes along, it really makes you go, wow, that just tickles you. It really, really tickles you, and it gives it that really unique factor. And I keep on talking about a unique factor, but that's what I strongly feel about this album, is it's very unique for the genre. And then also later on Magenta Moon, I'm not good at pronunciation, that's the 9th track, you get Chad Rulig from For the Fallen Dreams. Sorry, I'm keeping on referencing to that, but yeah, obviously another great signature voice in metalcore, and I think that really shows a bit of style variation in there, from the Tyler Shelton to Don to Chad. They all have their very unique adaptation onto the songs, but then on top of that, you've got the incredible musicianship going across this album. They definitely feel like this is a very strong album. And as well, I might as well add the guitar tone, very rich, a very chunky sound, especially on the title track, Apple of Discord, the first track. You know it's set up, but it's very rich, very crispy, but still quite gnarly in some aspects of it, but it still sounds very clean, very brass in some ways. Like, that's the only way I can really describe it. Very gritty, sort of tone, but it sounds incredible if you ask me. But yeah, and then the drum work, as I said before, it's a very groovy release, very intricate drum work on here. It's not overly technical, it's just groovy and just hits a really hard punch when it needs to, but gives it that great atmosphere with the cymbal works and what have you. It's just a very great sounding album, and this is one of the finest sounding albums of 2019 so far. I mean, this year, I said it in my last reviews, this year started off very strong with some great releases, and this one I'd say it joins the joins the ranks, because this is one of the better albums that I've enjoyed so far in 2019. I think it's just so enjoyable to listen to. It's quite fun in an aspect, and in general, it's just a mesmerising release. It's definitely a fun, enjoyable release, and something you really need to check out. If you're a fan of it, like as I said, the Contortionist, like mid-era sort of Contortionist, or TesseracT, or Periphery, then you'll find yourself at home with this. I'd even say modern Veil of Maya as well. Yeah, if you're a fan of any of those bands, definitely give it a shot. Ghost Iris need more attention, if you ask me, because this is absolutely outstanding, this album. It's just really enjoyable to listen to and fun. For an overall score, though, I'm going to give this a solid... I'm giving the high-end reviews ratings lately quite high, but we've just started the year so fucking strong. But anyway, I'm going to give this a solid 9 out of 10. This is an excellent, excellent album, and quite frankly, you just need to read it. If you're into progressive stuff, or metalcore in general, or even post-hardcore in some elements, you'll find something to love about this. This is very, very good stuff, released under Long Branch Records, the new Ghost Iris album, Apple of Discord. Excellent, one of the best progressive releases of 2019. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this review. I've got more videos coming in the upcoming future. I know I've had quite a stint lately with footage from Party Drive and a few reviews. But I will be taking a break at some point just to recuperate myself. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video so far in this video. And I'll see you until the next video. And remember, stay metal, and I'll see you later.